It's already on.
Okay. All right, we're going to finish these questions. This is the overview.
Alcoholism, step 1 and 2. Yep.
So, is the person that wrote this question here, what is self-talk? The person that wrote what is self-talk, are you here? Yes. Okay.
It will be beneficial.
He already knows the answer. With self-talk is the thing that my mind does all day long. It talks to me all day long, and it talks to me with authority, and I believe it. And I believe that I'm right. And everything I say, because I say it in my voice, in my head, I think it's the truth, whether it is or it isn't. And self-talk is the thing that I use to try to restore myself to sanity. Whenever I'm self-talking because I'm trying to figure out a situation. And if I can figure out the situation, then I'll have a sound mind. I'll get some serenity. So I do a lot of self-talking when I'm in the disease. But the self-talk never gets to the right answer. And the self-talk always takes both sides of the argument. And in step 2, I didn't really talk about the debating society. There's so much I didn't even touch on. The self-talking mind loves to debate, loves to take both sides. It's the whole debating society. It's both teams, and it fires in the question. That's why I have an unsound mind, because I can't argue on one side. I got to take both sides, and it's me. It's me against me. Who's going to lose? Me. Even if I win, I lose, because one half of my argument loses.
And it's exhausting.
And it wears me out. I foolishly burn up energy. Sometimes I'm in so much fear, it's like he expresses on the face of L.A. Hires boat beach. And it's, okay. Sometimes I'm in so much fear that it's like I'm on the beach in Omaha and it's H hour. When and how is the overpowering fear ever going to stop my living? Anything can trigger it. Yeah, you know what? I had a day the other day. I'm in a new business, and I have a guy that I've done some investments with in the past. And I always listen to his investment ideas. I always give him the time, and I've done some good investing with him. And I always invest with him. And I don't always invest with him, but I always explore the opportunity with him. And I have this opportunity, and I was so excited to take it to him. And I took the opportunity to him, and he's like, I don't invest in that kind of stuff. Like, boom, slammed the door. And in the moment, I thought I understood. You know, it's a little bit riskier than the kind of things he's used to. And I self-talked to myself, and I justified why it was okay that he slammed the door like that. But it didn't sit right with me. And I was a little bit like, he should have at least listened. Okay, whatever, I'm okay. Push it aside. And I went to sleep that night. And I woke up the next morning with that most incredible, intense fear that I really am a loser. And that everything up until that moment was a lie. And that there was no higher power. And that I really was going to go broke. And nobody was ever going to trust and believe. And that I really am such a bad businessman that this guy wouldn't even take the time to talk to me about it. And I believed it so strongly that I almost was paralyzed. I almost couldn't get out of bed. But I had to get out of bed, and I had to get my daughter to school. So I get up, and I do what I got to do in front of me, and I ask God to help me. Please help me. I can't. Please help me. I'm dying. I'm just praying and walking and moving and praying. And it didn't go away right away. And I haven't exercised in a long time. And something said, get on your bike. So I put my bike stuff on, and I got on my bike, and I'm riding, and I'm dying, and I'm praying. and I'm feeling like the world's biggest loser, and this time it's real, and all this stuff has been make-believe, and the fear is so intense that I feel like my bicycle's going to explode underneath me and kill me. And it's so strong, and I don't know how you get out of it. I just pedaled and prayed and pedaled and prayed. And, something happened. I can't describe what happened. I don't know how it happened, and I don't know exactly when it happened. But when I put my bike back in the bike rack, it was over. It was just over. And it's such a mystery. Nothing changed. Nobody talked to me. I didn't get any money for my deal. Nothing changed. It's just something came back into me and told me I'm going to be okay. And the faith came back that it's all going to work out. And I do remember what happened. I read the thing about fear. And it said that I'm going to trust and rely. I'm on a new basis of living. I'm now on the basis of trusting and relying on a power greater than me. And I had forgotten that I was on that basis. I was starting to trust and rely on this money and this deal and something other than the power. And that's where the fear comes from my trust being in the wrong place. And so I got back to trusting and relying on the power somehow. But I prayed like a newcomer. I was dying. It was as intense as if I was going to take a drink, but it wasn't a drink. I just thought I was going to die. So that's what I do. And the books are unbelievable. You could open that book. You get into a lot of fear and open the book and see what page you're on. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Call your sponsor. Go to a meeting. Do the things that you do. Because the fear is just the boogeyman. There was nothing there. Nothing happened to me. Nothing bad happened. But it was so real, and it felt so real. Can you nail down a warped board? We've talked about that. If you can, do it. I don't want any... If you can nail a warped board and you can make it work in your project, do it. Don't throw it away. My warped mind is done. I need to throw it away. I need to go away from my mind. Not go try and fix it. I've heard that alcoholism is a reasoning power that tries to get me to try to figure out my life. What does that mean? I think we talked about that in self-talk. Yes. Is every negative thought or action I do or have due to alcoholism? I don't know about you, but I call mine alcoholism. Because I have the disease. Everything that happens now is affected by the disease. I might have had depression before I got alcoholism. I might have. But I am depressed. And it is because of my alcoholism that I'm a depressed person. Now, it might also be because I'm eating too much sugar. But I'm eating too much sugar because self needs to be pleased in this moment. And that's alcoholism. And I'm pleasing self with the sugar, and the sugar is creating my depression. But what started it? Why am I eating so much sugar? It's because I have alcoholism, because I have to please self. Self is unsatisfied, and it needs to be satisfied. And the things that I do to satisfy self become the negative thoughts and negative things that happen to me. The answer why you didn't get a job as an actor. You didn't? I didn't wear my glasses. Thank you. How can I stop finding fault with everyone and everything? Is it possible not to be the same old guy eventually? It's possible right now. Right now, Power. Could you help me? Show me my sponsor. I think I have this prayer right. I might have transposed it over time. Show me what to see. Tell me what to hear. Let me speak your words. Let me do your will as a way of life. Amen. Okay, step 1. What is watching my mind? Why bother? I think you know by now why, if you sat in this room, but watching my mind is the most, it's the key to I have to see my mind. I have to see who I am. I have to see how alcoholism operates in the day that I'm in. Otherwise, I'm not going to do the steps. I'm just going to not drink, and I'm going to be miserable. And some days I'm going to get lucky and things are going to work out, and some days they're not, and one day I'm going to drink or kill somebody, myself or others, because of alcoholism. How do you raise the bottom? The bottom was raised for me because somebody knew what alcoholism was. And they were able to show me the peculiar twists of my mind and what the disease was. So I don't think you can raise the bottom for a drinking alcoholic. Maybe you can. I think it takes what it takes to get into the program. But once you're in the program, you can raise the bottom for alcoholism. I think at prime time, it's a little heavy to show a brand new newcomer their mind right off the bat, because it's so hard to not blame everything on alcohol, and it's fantastic to blame everything on alcohol, and it allows me to come in and sit and still not think I'm such a terrible person if I can blame it all on alcohol. And so I sort of like to let a newer guy sit with it for a while. What happens in prime time is my mind was shown to me, and I went crazy. I didn't go crazy. I was already crazy, but now I'm seeing it. And I can't blame it on anything else but my mind, my alcoholism. And it's very painful because it takes a while between seeing my mind and having a program of application, a program of recovery. So there's going to be a period where you're left with you and your mind and prayer. But there is definitely a spot there that's a little tricky where you have to go a little crazy. And then that craziness, that pain drives me to go for more. Does an unmanageable life have anything to do with resentments? I mean, an unmanageable life is where I create all my resentments. What does alcoholism have to do with an unmanageable life? Come on. I think we covered that. Can someone saved from the 10 or 15 years of literal hell have the willingness of a last gasper? Yeah. I think I was saved the last 10 or 15 years of literal hell, thanks to cocaine. I didn't have to drink and drink and drink and drink. I went down so fast it was over. It only took 10 years. It didn't take 35. 45 in some cases. Some of us are sicker than others. It's all fun and games until it's your mind. We're in step 2 now.
Ooh, we're starting to climb.
What is the importance of saying I don't know to God? Is this how I connect to the power when I can't admit or will myself into powerlessness? If I can't admit or will myself into powerlessness, the universe will take care of that. Life will present the things necessary for me to surrender. And it's not necessarily life presenting it. It's I will create situations in my life which will cause me enough pain to where I'll become willing to either go for the program or drink again. That's the problem. The problem is that I don't know which way it's going to go. If I don't go with the power, anything can happen. So, I don't know what it takes to get to a place where you're going to be willing. But there's an opportunity to have that here, and that's what we try to do at Prime Time, is raise the bottom up so that I can see that, yeah, it is my mind, and all this trouble is my mind. Are there different levels of alcoholism or ego? How is step 2 a solution for these levels? Meaning sometimes I'm more disturbed than other times. Sometimes I'm more disturbed than other times. There are no levels of alcoholism. It's either on or it's off. Now, there's different levels of pain based on the situations that I'm encountering in alcoholism. And sometimes self is pleased in alcoholism. Sometimes I get the check I was hoping for, and I'm pleased, and everything's great. But then I go spend the money on things I don't need, and then I don't have the check anymore. And now I'm in a world of pain because I've spent money I didn't have on things I didn't need because my mind told me I could, or because I wanted to show off or be important. So alcoholism, I'm either in recovery or I'm in the disease. And I might not be in pain right now, but pain is coming if I'm in the disease. It's inevitable. If I rest on my laurels, I'm headed for trouble. Can you give a current example of how you use step 2? Power, could you be with me? Could you help me right now? You talked about coming to believe not in a power. It says in a power, but I didn't talk about coming to believe in a power. Came to believe that a power. But not much about the restoring to sanity. What if you don't think you're insane? If you don't think you're insane, just hang around for a while. Life will take care of that. Look, I'm not insane on the outside. I look good on the outside. I get my car from point A to point B. Sometimes I go to a job and I actually work at the job. I have a family. I can take food out of the refrigerator and prepare it and eat it. I'm not insane on the outside, but it's on the inside. As I'm chopping the food and I have murderous thoughts because my kid's not acting right or my wife's asking me questions I'm not interested in and I'm not listening to her and she's yelling at me for never listening to her. And the inner life is where the unsound thoughts are. If you don't think you're insane, maybe you're not. Maybe you came on the wrong retreat. Maybe you're in the wrong room. But I would encourage you to investigate further. I know that I have that insanity. And the second step, it's the second step. If you get to the second step and you don't think that you have an unsound mind, then stay in the first step. Maybe you're not ready for the second step yet. Maybe you need to spend some more time seeing what an unmanageable life is, an unmanageable inner life, until you get to the place where you know who you are. Even these last gaspers often had difficulty in realizing how hopeless they actually were. How it works talks a lot about honesty. Can you talk about self-honesty and the role it plays in my recovery? Yeah, the first paragraph in how it works talks about honesty 3 times. At first it says, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. I'm a will not. I will not completely give myself to the simple program. I want something else to happen. I just want to get lucky. I just want to get the paycheck. I just want to get the job. I just want to get the wife. That's all I want. I don't want to completely give myself to the simple program. And I'm afraid that if I do, I'm going to become something I don't want to be. That's my big fear, is that God has other plans that I don't agree with. Usually, the ones who are the will-nots are usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. See, I think I'm way better than I am. And I think I am constitutionally incapable of being honest with myself. That's why I'm here in AA. That's why I get a sponsor. The sponsor holds up the mirror for me and says, look, Randy, here's what you are. Here's who you are. And I'm incapable of being honest with myself. So I have to go back day after day and have that mirror held up. And I look at it. No, that's other people, not me. I don't see me in that mirror. And I fight it, and I'm constitutionally incapable of looking into the mirror when I get here. Little by slowly, I start to see the character that I am. My sponsor told me, my first sponsor told me, he said, Randy, if you knew how sick you are, your head would explode. He said that right to my face. I just was telling Ray about that, and I've told half of you that before. But that's true. Luckily, he didn't point the mirror straight at me the first time, because my head would have exploded right there in front of my eyes. Luckily, I can't see. Luckily, I'm constitutionally incapable of seeing who I really am. Because if I got it all at once, it would be too terrible. And I get it a little bit at a time in AA, one little step at a time. They are, yeah. Okay, so that's about rigorous honesty.
One more step two.
One more step two.
And then a couple step three.
Talk about that instant. How do I get out of it when I live with a short fuse? That instant. That instant when I'm going to do something that I know I shouldn't do. Part of admitting complete defeat is seeing that I live in that instant of, I think I don't want to do this. I'm not going to say this. Tony talks about it with his boss, trying to back out of the room without saying it. Trying to back out of the room slowly. Please, don't let me say this. Don't let me say this. Don't let me say this. You bastard, you ruined my life. I can't not do it. I can't not do what my mind tells me to do. So, it's a program of progress. I'm going to do all sorts of stupid things. I'm an alcoholic with alcoholism. Just because I stopped drinking doesn't mean I'm not going to still tear through people's lives and still be trying to please self. This is a program of recovery. Hopefully my mistakes aren't so drastic that I can't make amends for it at some time. And the more I hang around this program and get to know what this program's about, the more I'm able to pause at that instant when I know I shouldn't go there and I can't stop myself. Okay, step two. Step three?
Yep. Now we move to step three.
Step three. What did you do when you like being the power? Whatever I want, no matter how much it hurt. What is discipline? How can I have it? Self-discipline availed me nothing. Yeah, I let God discipline me in this simple way, as outlined in these steps. And I get to have you in my life to remind me that I need to go for more. And that's how I go for more. Whether you're telling me what's possible or you're showing me what I don't want. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can be an example of what not to do or what to do. But you being in my life is where I get the discipline to go for more. I don't do it on my own. You and the power greater than me. If I'm willing to go for this thing, the discipline will be there. My life has to become important to me. And my life has to be what goes on inside of me. When I'm sick and tired of everywhere I go, my head is there going, yapping, all 24/7. When I lay down in bed, when I get up in the morning, all the time going. There's a way to turn that off, but my life has to become important to me. And then I got to ask for help to get into the steps. Step 3, ask the power. How do I ask the power what freeway to take? Did you mean it literally? Yes, I did. I did, because if I don't ask the power which freeway to take, I'm going to ask me which freeway to take. And if I ask me which freeway to take, I'm going to have an opinion about that freeway. And then I'm going to debate which freeway to take. And now I've started the debating society. And whether it's about a freeway or a girl or a sandwich, whatever the hell it's about, it's the debating society. And once it's started, once I've gone to self to be the authority for my life, self is the authority for my life. And there's no telling when I'm going to come out of that. But if I pull up to the freeway and I say, God, which way would you have me go, the 10 or the 60? Which way? And then I go whichever way I'm intuitively guided to go, there's a chance I might take the power down that freeway with me. So that if there's an accident or something else going on, I can be surrendered and drive through it like an insane person, not go crazy and wreak havoc around the accident. We had that discussion on the way out. Should we go the 60 or the 10? And I said, I think we should go the 10. There was a tanker burning on the 60 yesterday. And Bobby said, no, we're going to go. Bobby said, no, I think we should go the 60. And that was that. Okay, here we go. We went to 60, and you know what? The 60 worked out to be perfect. So what do I know? I get to go with the flow. But I get to ask the power, do I turn left or do I turn right? And if I go left, and I was supposed to go right, God will make left right. So long as I take the power with me, no harm will come to me. That's it, guys. Thank you. As you walk out of here, ask the power which way you should go. Take the power with you everywhere you go, starting right now as far as you can. Don't make any decisions on your own for the rest of this moment. Thank you so much for this weekend. I love you guys.